longer disturbed by flowery language of the Vedas, when it remains fixed in trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. So Krishna wants us to get here, get the divine consciousness where the mind is not attached to the flowery language of the Vedas. Now Arjuna is going to ask the question concerning that. Sorry, I'm trying to make the font big. Krishna. Okay, who would like to read? Let's please.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead, Raghu.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna Uvacha Shita Prajajnaka Bhasha Samadhistasya Kesava Stiya Ada Kim Prabhasyate Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim.
Very nice, thank you.
Translation. Arjuna said, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Purport.
So these are the questions that Arjuna is going to ask. Okay, go ahead, Raghu. Sorry.
Yeah. As there are symptoms for each and every man in terms of his particular situation, similarly, one who is in Krishna consciousness has his particular nature, whether it's talking, walking, thinking, feeling, etc. As a rich man has his symptoms by which he is known as a rich man, as a deceased man has his symptoms by which he is known as a deceased, or as a learned man has his symptoms, so a man in transcendental consciousness of Krishna has specific symptoms in various dealings. One can know his specific symptoms from the Bhagavad Gita. Most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks, for speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak, and certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks, but as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. The immediate symptom of Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. Other symptoms then automatically follow as stated below.
Oh, very nice. Yes, so we are going to go over some slides and I will show you. So these are the questions that Arjuna is asking Krishna. Okay, you're telling me that you want me to be situated in transcendental consciousness. Tell me, that person, how does he speak? First question, how does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Sorry. So how does he speak? Sit. Can I just turn off my phone? I'm sorry, I forgot to put it in the vibrator mode and it's far away. Or if it is not bothering you, I can let it go. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, Mataji.
So everyone has to be known by their achar and prachar. You see, reading and studying is different thing. Practicing is altogether a different thing. So practice of Krishna consciousness is what makes a person known. Not artificial practice, because mind can play games and we can have the artificial dress of a devotee, artificially speaking like a devotee. You know, so many people are doing this. I think Sita Mataji was telling me about this person, right, in America, who bought an island, who's starting a airline from Australia to America. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, Mataji. Sita Mataji knows him.
Yeah, no, I got the information from my teacher, Mataji. So he sent me a forward. He's some guru who was in India. I think he got boycotted from India and he bought an island. I don't know where the specifics are, but he bought an island and now he's running a show and he's calling devotees to come and visit him. But there's a chartered flight from Australia, I think, to go to that island.
You see, so that person is also attracting so many. Thank you. So that person is also attracting so many people from so many places of the world. But is he a devotee of Krishna? Probably not, because a devotee of Krishna is automatically attractive. Like sun, when it comes out, automatically you want to look at it. We don't have to. We don't have to be boycotted and do so many endeavors. Automatically, Srila Prabhupada, wherever he went, automatically people were getting to him. Automatically. You can't find this example. It's not ordinary. We think like Prabhupada looks like an ordinary man. He's singing, he's talking, he's ordinary. No, no, no. When you hear him, when you read about him, nothing is ordinary in Prabhupada's life. Nothing. Nothing is ordinary. Prabhupada was going and Prabhupada was speaking and everybody was surrendering. I am living in America for how many years? 13 years now. Sita Mataji is living for so many years. How many people are following us? How many Americans are following us? Nobody. Why? Because I am not a pure devotee of Krishna. How many people are following Prabhupada in 1 year? Prabhupada came in September 1965. ISKCON was registered in 1966 July. Done. 1966 July, it was already registered. And he came only for 3 months. But these people who got attracted to Prabhupada actually petitioned the government to let Prabhupada stay more and more and more. So they only were making sure that Prabhupada is staying legally more and more and more. So many things were happening. We think that this is ordinary, but just study the life of Prabhupada, you will find all these symptoms. How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Nobody. I have never met anyone who's even near to Srila Prabhupada's capacity. So many nice devotees. I'm very fortunate. I met so many nice devotees in my life wherever I went. Uh, uh, but but we all agree unanimously that there is no second person as Srila Prabhupada. So the immediate symptom is, how does he talk? When Prabhupada talks and we hear, we want to hear. We want to hear. We want to give our reception. We want to give our time. We want to give the energy. Why? Because there's something in him which is very, very hypnotizing. And I beg all of you to please hear Srila Prabhupada every day. We are driving, we are cooking, we are doing so many things. Just put his lecture. Everything is available. Devotees have done everything for us. They have made it available. Why not hear? Please don't let the sunset and sunrise or get over without hearing Srila Prabhupada. Or read his books. That is also hearing. So speech is very important, and speech can only be filled with Krishna consciousness if one's life is filled with the practice. No one will really be able to go on talking about Krishna like Prabhupada 24/7 if the life is not filled with Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada was 24/7 in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so let's hear, and I just want to show this slide here. 1 second. Maybe I put it, how does he sit, how does he walk, and what are his symptoms here. So this is going to happen. The answers are going to be like this. Krishna, what am I doing? So what are the symptoms? So Krishna is going to answer. Speech will be answered in verse 56 to 57. How does he sit will be answered in 58 to 63. How does he walk will be answered in 64 to 72 verse. Okay, this is going to be the flow of the conversation now between Arjuna and Krishna. Yes, Sapna, you want to chant?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Bhagavanuvacha Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogathan atmanya evatmana tushtaha stitha prajnas tadochyate. Translation. O blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness, perfect. The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of the great sages, whereas a person who is not so transcendentally situated has no good qualifications, because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction artificially, such sense desire cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desire subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation for this devotional service, which will instantly help one on to the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Such a transcendentally situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. So this is the symptoms. What are the symptoms was the first question, right? This is a symptom of a person who's transcendently situated. So we, if I don't want to be cheated, then I'm going to go and refer this verse. If I am attracted to some renounced personality, I should go back and refer to this verse. Is this person meeting this? When a man gives up all varieties of sense desires which result from mental concoction, when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So two criteria has to be met. One is the desire coming, the satisfaction coming from fulfillment of the desires by mental concoction has to be given up. And what has to be accepted? The satisfaction from the self. Okay, two things. This is the way the Shastras are written. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada describes in Nectar of Devotion that in chapter 2 it is written there that Shastras, there is going to be always what not to do, and then the next line will follow what to do. Always. So he says, like, never forget Krishna, always remember Krishna. So one negation, another positive. These subtle things become clear when you serve Krishna, where we have to serve Krishna, really. Krishna, when we get up in the morning, say, another day in the service of the Lord. Thank you, Krishna. Something like that. You have to pray. You have to pray to Prabhupada. Pray to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me this life so I can serve you. So one has to give up all kinds of sense desires manufactured by mental concoction. Give me some example. What does it mean? Give up kinds of sense gratification, all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. What does this line mean? Give me some example. Very quickly, please, because I do want to finish this chapter today.
Ma'am, like Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted the kingdom and he went to meet Krishna, but after meeting him, he gave up that actual desire of wanting the kingdom. Would that be appropriate?
Yes, that is very nice. Yes, yeah, very nice, Mataji, Radhika. So, for in our personal life, my life, your life, or all of our lives, what does this mean?
Say no to material desires.
Like what? Give me example.
Like the body is happy with all other comforts, Mataji. Like a good big car, big home, something like that.
So say no to the car. What? Like what?
Like there is no end to car. See, the 5 lakhs car also is happy. Big 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Like that,
Okay.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
who else?
Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
We should give up the result of the activities, renunciation of activities. We should do all the activities, but we should give up all the result, the enjoyment of the result of the activities, whatever comes by. That
Give
is
me
what
an
is
example, please.
in our day-to-day life. For example, we have to do activities which are related to our family life, be it raising children, be it as a work, maybe as a teacher, working as a teacher, but the result of the activity is always given away to as a sense enjoyment of for Krishna. not we are not supposed to have the feeling that we have done it. It is all through Krishna, and it is for his satisfaction we are doing it.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes, Anu
Hare
Madhukar
Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes, yes.
Get up early in the morning to serve Krishna, to
Very
do
nice.
japa.
Yeah, that is very nice. So that is like completely a complete engagement. So you're giving one engagement. Yes, very nice. What else? What else? Sapna, what were you saying?
Mataji, anything that we do devoted to Krishna's service now, whatever work that we are doing, have it in mind. We are not doing it. I mean, it is a service to Krishna. Have that kind of a feeling in whatever you are doing. When I'm teaching children, I feel I'm teaching. I'm giving my time and devotion to Krishna only. It's the way of serving Krishna. That's what, as a teacher, I always, early in the morning when I start my class, I always start with some thought like this.
Very nice. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes, Sapna, what were you saying?
Mataji, you said you asked us for the example for some of the material desires. So I said some cravings of outside food, dresses, house, money, like that. But
Oh, okay.
when all these desires go for Krishna, then it doesn't belong to material desires. Like if we get money to serve Krishna, then it is not material.
Okay, thank you, Sapna. Yes, Jyoti Lakshmi Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Some examples of material desires which we should give up is like idle chit chat and gossip, and watching movies, for example.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Annapurna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. I was thinking about the intoxications, leaving off all the intoxications and being intoxicated to Krishna only.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah,
Mataji.
yes.
Very nice. Yes. So yes, Annu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just wanted to add, in yesterday's class, as you said, it really struck me that when we dress up also, we get ready, we should get ready thinking we are getting ready to look beautiful to Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, so so stop concocting that I will be happy in this way. Tomorrow when I have this much money, then I will be happy. That is concoction. Okay, that is what it means, mental concoction. I'm concocting, I'm planning that when I will have this much of assets, when I will have a bigger house, then only I will be happy. Now I don't have a big house, so I cannot be happy because I don't have space, because I don't have this. I'm so uncomfortable. Da 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 da. That is concoction. Okay, that's really a concoction. Or so we have to give up the concoction. It doesn't mean that we cannot have aspiration and ambitions, but getting fixed to the idea, oh, when I will do the shopping at Amazon, and unless and until I get the delivery, I'm unhappy. The minute I'll get the delivery, I will be happy. That is also a mental concoction because my happiness is not dependent on these things. I'm externalizing, what do you call trading off? No, outsourcing my happiness. I am outsourcing it to something else, somebody else. That is the result of mental concoction. A person in Krishna consciousness is not going to outsource their happiness. Okay, their happiness is not dependent on anybody outside. Nobody. The happiness is dependent on the Lord sitting inside the heart. That's where the happiness comes from. So very difficult stage, but it is what it is. Krishna wants this level of elevation for each one of us in Krishna consciousness when we have no one else other than Krishna to depend on. How will we do that? If we don't know Krishna, if we have doubts, oh, Krishna is God or not God, then we are not there. So artificially sense desires cannot be stopped. Artificially, I cannot say, oh, I cannot eat this chocolate. Oh, I cannot eat this chocolate. No, I have to develop something higher. I need to develop a taste for halwa to give up the taste for chocolate. Something like that has to be done. Artificially, कुछ नहीं होएगा. नहीं होगा. Artificially, so many people try to fit in with the devotee category, but inside they want to smoke cigarette the minute they want to go out. So that person is also eligible for Krishna consciousness, but that person really has to follow the process. Without following the process, how can we get purified? Okay, if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desire subside without extraneous effort. This is true. This is true. When we are serving the deities, I gave this example in Sadhu Sangha class, right? That when we decorate the deities, I seriously wish and pray that all of you have this experience in your life. You go to the temple and decorate the archa, which is established by acharyas under proper regulations, and dress them with proper regulations, following the procedure. You get empowered. You get it. You know, when we are serving the lotus feet of Krishna, when we are putting the sandalwood pulp on the tulsi leaf and it goes on the lotus feet of Krishna, and we're chanting the mantras, and we dress, we put the anklets, we start dressing, we put the earrings, the nose ring. It's and all with one offering has to be done with a mantra. Each and every offering is with a mantra. You chant, you offer. You chant, you offer. So you have no one. You forget the whole world. And then the desire to find a beautiful, so-called beautiful person in this world stops. Nobody looks more beautiful than Krishna that you just dressed up. It stops. It just stops. There's no, not that we find everyone else ugly, but you know, the concoction that this person is more beautiful than that person, it stops because everybody's is less beautiful than what the deity I just dressed. So we have to do it. If you don't do it, then you don't get it. Okay, I think we can go ahead. Now he's gonna give answer to how does he talk? What is his speech? Okay, so speech is going to be described now. Who wants to chant? Where is Sita Mataji?
I'm here, Mataji.
Oh, okay, sorry. Hare Krishna, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Dukesh vanudvigna manaha sukheshu vighata sparha vita raga bhagya krodha stitadir munir uchyate. Translation. One who is not disturbed in spite of threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. Purport. The word muni means one who can agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation without coming to a factual conclusion. It is said that every muni has a different angle of vision, and unless a muni differs from other munis, he cannot be called a muni in the strict sense of term. Nashu munir yashya matam na bhinnam. But a Stithadhar Muni, as mentioned herein by the Lord, is different from an ordinary Muni. The Stithadhar Muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. He has surpassed the stage of mental speculations and has come to the conclusion that Lord Sri Krishna or Vasudeva is everything. He is called a Muni fixed in mind. Such a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold miseries, for he accepts all miseries as the mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. And he sees that his miseries, by the grace of Lord, are minimized to the lowest. Similarly, when he is happy, he gives credit to the Lord, thinking himself unworthy of such happiness. He realizes that it is due only to the Lord's grace that he is in such a comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. And for the service of the Lord, he is always daring and active and is not influenced by the attachment or aversion. Attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. But one fixed in Krishna consciousness has neither attachment nor detachment because his life is dedicated in the service of the Lord. Consequently, he is not at all angry even when his attempts are unsuccessful. A Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So nicely read. You read so nicely. So 56 and 57 is the speech that this is how this person is, that one who is not disturbed in spite of threefold miseries. What are the threefold miseries? Yes, who's gonna tell me? Quickly, you guys are almost finishing second chapter. What are the threefold miseries that Prabhupada is talking about here? Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, is it the goodness, passion, and ignorance?
Those are the three modes of nature, threefold miseries. Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, and Adidevik. Miseries arising from one's own body and mind, Adhyatmic. Adibhautik, miseries because of other living entities. Adidevik, miseries because of higher powers or demigods. Okay, these are the threefold miseries. So even they are present, the person is not disturbed and also not elated when there is a reason to be very happy externally, who's free from attachment, fear, and anger. So these are the binding things. This binds a living entity. Attachment, fear, anger is called a stage of steady mind. My God, I don't know when I'll reach this, but it is what it is. So Muni means one who is who can do so many things with the mind. Agitate his mind in various ways for mental speculation without coming to a factual conclusion. Muni basically means like a thinker. Maybe like this, maybe like that, maybe this, maybe like these people who write poems and stories, they can be called in a way a Muni because they can imagine so many things happening, and they're really not happening. If you read a fiction novel, so many things are happening, but they are really not happening. So they are kind of a Muni, but they are not Sthitadhir Muni. Sthitadhir Muni is this. Sthitadhir is Sthita is one who is steady. Sthitadhir. And that is that state. So one whose mind has gotten an object of meditation and is steady there. Nasho munir yasya matam na bhinnam means this means that unless and until one muni differs from another muni, then that person is not superior. But Siddhadhir Muni is fixed. Siddhadhir Muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. No need to speculate anything else. Okay, and this is very important. A person who is in Krishna consciousness fixed there, is not agitated. If there is a problem, if there is an obstacle, they take it as a mercy of the Lord, thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. And he sees that his miseries by the grace of the Lord are minimized to the lowest. This is how a devotee thinks. A devotee thinks that I was supposed to suffer so much. Tatyanukampa, Sushumikshamano, Bhunjana Evatma Kritam Vipakam, Hidvag Vapurbhir Vidham Namaste Jiveta Yumukti Pade Sadaya Bhak. Brahma prays to Krishna, I was supposed to suffer so much. I was supposed to suffer. But thank you, Krishna, you minimized it. I deserved so much. I have done so many misdeeds. I've been roaming around in this life from one life to another life to another life. What am I doing? I'm only doing sinful activities. Now I have come to my consciousness. Now. We can look at so many devotees. Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is Siddhadhir Muni. He was suffering. So-called. Externally, we can see suffering now. 5-year-old boy. If you really look at 5-year-old boy, I look at 5-year-old children all the time. So, and now then, whenever I look at them, I think, my God, Prahlad Maharaj of this size, but so fixed. These are not fictions; these are real things. It was real. It really happened. Okay, Dhruva Maharaj was 7 years, I think, when he went to the forest to alone. Narad Muni was also young when his mother died, and he was left alone in the whole world. He was left alone. He and Queen Kunti, what did she do? What did she do? Nothing. Her husband died when she was young, and that too, if you really study how Pandu died, was um, like thrilling. Like really, that he had to go through so much. But Queen Kunti, So she suffered so much because of in her old age and being a widow, roaming around with the sons here and there everywhere. But we are reading her prayers. Has she ever mentioned that, Krishna, why did you make me suffer so much? And whoever is reading with me in Bhagavatam, has she ever mentioned something like this? That, Krishna, why did you make? Actually, she says, Krishna, give me more sufferings, because seeing suffering means seeing you, and seeing you means I'm not coming back. Nan Maharaj or Vasudev, I really adore this. Krishna was born, and because of Krishna's Maya, Yoga Maya, everybody fell asleep, right? So Vasudev, he took Krishna in the basket and he traveled by foot from Mathura to Vrindavan through the route of Jamuna to exchange Krishna with the baby girl born to Mother Yashoda. But I always wonder why he didn't choose to run away. He had a chance, right? He had a chance to run away. Imagine if somebody is in shackles, their hands and feet and their waist is tied, and they are put in a jail. Now they got a chance to run away. He still doesn't run away. He comes back and he puts himself back in the shackles. We can't understand the devotees. It is so nice. Krishna consciousness is so nice. Krishna consciousness gives us the 360-degree view of our life. What are we doing and where we have to go? Up and down both. So when a devotee is happy, it says, thank you, Krishna, for giving me this happiness, but I am actually not worthy of this transcendental ecstasy. But can you please tell me what can I do with it now? How can I serve you more? And Krishna conscious person is daring. Srila Prabhupada was lion. He was lion. The person who's 70-year-old would like to take rest in the house. Because I have seen my grandparents, because they're tired of doing so many things in life. What did Prabhupada do? Travel 28 days on the sea alone, fearless, and go and preach to these people, and then go on traveling. No more than staying 3-4 days in a place. Go on traveling until 88 years of age. Travel. I have my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She's 89 years old. So I tell her, please come and visit me. It is such a big headache to even think about it. Because one day we were sitting and I was talking to her. I said, why don't you come? Oh, I'm so old. Oh, how can I board the plane? Oh, how can I do the travel for 14 hours straight, even if you give me the straight ticket? Oh, what if I fall sick there? What will you do? So many things, huh? Prabhupada, daring, go, penetrate the layer, get in the country, make people Krishna conscious, bring them back. A Krishna conscious person is steady in his determination, doesn't look. Krishna will take care. I just have to go. This is the benefit of becoming Krishna conscious. But we are weak. Why a person in Kali Yuga is weak-minded? Why? Because the mind is not determined to serve Krishna. Even a person in Kali Yuga can become strong-minded if they become determined to serve Krishna. No matter what. No matter what. But I have seen it's not easy. When we serve Krishna, and let's say more than one devotee is involved in a service, um, our um, our personalities clash. I have seen it in the temple, everywhere. Enough. I have seen enough now. If a person is not mature in Krishna consciousness, they leave the service. They leave it. They go away. But a mature devotee will go and talk to and confide on another person before leaving the service. I'm facing this problem. Can you help me? Which is the right way of thinking. But a person who is neophyte, who is immature, who feels insulted, not heard, so many things happen, so many dramas happen, leaves. Okay, this was not, I was trying it anyway, it didn't happen. Anyway, I'm not getting paid for this, I'm gonna leave. They leave. But then who is at loss? Krishna is not at loss, because that our service place is like a quicksand. One devotee told me this once in temple. The service that we are doing for Krishna is the position is like a quicksand. He said, He said, if I leave, like, a quicksand, like you take the sand and then remove the sand from a place where there's quicksand or a landslide kind of a place, and immediately the more sand comes and covers up, right? That ground. So you take it and then immediately it comes and covers. Like that it is. If I leave, immediately somebody else will come. Immediately this will happen. Krishna service will never be stopped. So don't leave. Don't leave your service. So many millions of lives have passed. Prabhupada used to cry when somebody used to say, I'm going to leave. Prabhupada used to beg them, don't leave. Don't leave. There's ways around to do. There are always a resolution that we can come. Always. Always. You think I'm with ISKCON the next month, 19 years. You think I've never faced a conflict of interest in my own life? So many times. So many times there have been conflicts of interest with so many devotees. And even with Mangalore, I felt rejected. Even with Namarishna Prabhu, because they were all brahmacharis, I used to go cook. Okay, I was very young, 21-year-old or something. I used to go cook. Prabhu said, we need someone to cook because there were only 3 people, right? Vrindavan Prabhu, Namarishna Prabhu, and Keshav Prabhu. Okay, now these people, 3 brahmacharis, were running the whole temple. So I had some time and I said, Prabhu, I can cook in the morning and in the evening. So before going to college, I used to go 6 o'clock in the morning, cook and go to college. Then in the evening, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I used to go back and cook the evening offering. The people, so I was limited in the kitchen and they were all outside such a big temple. They were somewhere working and they knew I'm here. I'll cook, the pujari will offer and then I'll leave. But congregation objected it because an unmarried young girl is coming to a temple with 3 brahmacharis. Can you believe that? And Ramanujana Prabhu told me, I don't agree with what they're saying, but because we are conditioned and we have to follow this ideal role, don't come. I felt so rejected. I felt so rejected by that comment, don't come, because that was my life and soul. Don't come. So, but then he took care of me. He explained me so well and he gave me some other services and we used to go out for temple book distribution. So see, I told him that, Prabhu, I'm feeling very hurt. But he said, that's okay. I mean, that's natural because I'm also feeling hurt. He also said, I'm also feeling hurt. But why don't you go for book distribution? So we used to have bus, Geet Govinda, and we used to go and we used to have teams. I and my friend Kavita, she used to speak Kannada. I used to speak Hindi and English. And we used to distribute. We used to have goal. And Prabhu used to say, whichever team will win, I will give award. Okay, so, and Kavita was such a big book distributor. She used to make me walk barefoot. I said, yeah, it's so barren land. I don't want to walk barefoot. She used to say, we are serving Krishna. Why are you wearing shoes? I felt this is concoction. Plus, Mangalore has so many cases of filariasis, the worms which enter through the soul and goes in the lymphatic system and causes problem. But no, she would not agree. So, okay, chalo, theek hai. So we used to go barefoot and we distributed maybe, I think 8 or 10 sets of Bhagavatam in one day. So we won. I and her, we won the game. And Prabhu gave us Srila Prabhupada's life-size poster, which I still have it. I have it in my temple room. I framed it. So see, we came to the resolution. I did not leave. We came to the resolution. So many cases I can say. And I'm not even a big devotee. So don't leave. Because then only being service to Krishna will make us steady in our determination. There's nothing else. Not by sitting with our mind and sitting with our prestige or sitting with our own thing that, oh, this is so bad. Oh, this person is bad. This person doesn't get along. This person is good. This person gets along. This person doesn't understand. Blah and a blah and a blah. Does not end. It will never end. It has not ended in any lifespan. We have to come to a resolution, and there is a Vaishnava etiquette. Prabhupada gives such a nice training. Vaishnava etiquette is, if there is a problem, then approach someone who is superior before making a decision to leave. Approach, discuss the problem, see what are the options. Leaving should not be an option. Anyway, so that only will make us steady in our determination. If somebody leaves, then their determination is still shaky. Still shaky. Okay, so I think we can go ahead. 57th verse. Annapurna Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji, I'll read.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Yah sarvatra nabhisnehastata prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati na dvesti tasya prajna pratishtita. He who is without attachment, who does not rejoice when he obtains good or laments when he obtains evil, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Purport. There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in material world, there is always the possibility of good and evil, because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected,
Go ahead, Mataji.
who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil, because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such Krishna consciousness in Krishna situates only in a perfect transcendental position called technically a samadhi. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. But it's so nice. So, there's always going to be somebody who's going to like us. So there's always going to be somebody who's not going to like us. And there's always going to be somebody who I will like more than the other. Why? Because this world is full of duality. It's always going to be there. Okay, it's always going to be there. It's not that, okay, this is going to be my object of affection, because we are in a dual world. We are in a dual world. Dual means two sides, good and bad. I'm not saying that we should expose ourselves to a terrorist and say that, okay, terrorist, even though you will shoot me, I still love you. I'm not saying that. We have to, six kind of aggressor has to be fought against, and we have to live practically. But at least in the journey of Krishna consciousness, such duality has to take a pause button. We need to pause this. Consciously, we have to pause it. That, okay, especially in Vaishnava dealings, when we are dealing with each other, it has to be with utmost respect from the heart. Prabhupada, there's a very good formula. If we don't agree with another Vaishnava, and my Guru Maharaj presses this fact a lot, then there is a way that immediately offer obeisances to that person and immediately think something good that they have done for Krishna. Immediately. Otherwise, the mind will come into business and will build. Yes, see, that person did that also, that also, that also, this also, that also. Then we are only falling down, because that person is in their own journey. And that person may be replaced by someone else tomorrow. We are going to keep moving. Then what? Better to work on our own consciousness than to fix someone else, because that consciousness will stay with us forever. But the person may keep on changing. This one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Okay, this is how we live our life in Krishna consciousness. This is how we live our life. Who is asking me the meaning of the word samadhi? Sapna, we read this in previous verses. Technically, the samadhi means fixed. Yes, Dhaneshri Mataji, you want to say?
It is fixed actually to the Krishna consciousness, Mataji.
Yes. Samadhi means a person who is fixed in his meditation on Krishna. Even though such a person will be, we'll read next. It's coming. Sitting, sleeping, blinking of the eyelids, walking, talking, that person knows that only the matter is in touch with the body, but the soul does nothing. So that is a stage of fixed samadhi. Samadhi, basically, you can take it as a meditation. The mind is constantly, effortlessly engaged in thinking of Krishna. Like for a mother, it is not an effort for a mother to think about her child. It's not an effort at all. It's so effortless that my children, what are they doing? How are they eating? Did I feed my child? Did I cook properly? Is my child studying? So effortless, right? Like that. For Krishna's devotee things is effortless. Okay, I think we can go ahead. We can go ahead. No questions so far, right?
Mataji, can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. And then
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yada samharate chayam karmonganev sarvasya indriyani indriyardapye tasya prajna pratishtata. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as the tortoise draws his limbs within the shell is to be understood as truly situated in knowledge. Perfect. The test of a yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he is able to control the senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of the senses and are thus directed by the dictation of the senses. That is the answer to the question as to how the yogi is situated. The senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents like a snake charmer. He never allows them to act independently. There are many injunctions in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do nots and some of them are do's. Unless one is able to follow the do's and the do nots, restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. The best example set herein is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up his senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purposes. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna consciousness persons are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdrawn otherwise. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise who keeps the senses within. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
This
so
also
much.
could be Samadhi Mataji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes, very nice. So from verse 58 to 63, Krishna is going to answer the question, how does a devotee or Sitadhir Muni sit? So it begins like this. Person is able to withdraw the senses. They're not allured. What is happening today is the senses are going haywire. If I see somebody dressed very nicely, then I get attracted to that dress and I want it or something. Or there's some conception of dressing up in the mind. Something is there. I have to dress up in this way, this way, this way. There's no harm in doing it. But the object of meditation has to be Krishna. Let me do it so that I can um, please the deities. When I go, not because, and when you please the deities, you get the satisfaction. So that is a test of a yogi. The yogi is not dependent on a extraneous effort. Like unless and until this Friday, this movie comes out, I am morose and very sad. And the minute the movie will come out and I'll go and watch the movie, I will be so happy. It's not like that. So they are able to play around with their senses. Go out, work is done, come back inside. Be situated in the self. Go out, speak, come back, and then write books. Go out, what Prabhupada used to say, travel, and then come back, sit in the room, and then again, go know the purpose of the travel. What was the purpose? Prabhupada's servant, Shruta Kirti Prabhu. Shruta Kirti Prabhu traveled with Prabhupada for 4 or 5 years across the world as his servant to take care of Prabhupada's needs. And he is a powerhouse of Prabhupada's pastimes. I heard his class And also I read his book. He wrote a book, What is the Difficulty? So Prabhupada, he talks, wherever Prabhupada went, his schedule was same. Let's say today Prabhupada is sitting in Australia and tomorrow he goes to Africa. His schedule is same. There is no jet lag. There is no like, okay, give me some time to unwind myself. Like I do when I go to my parents' house, I need 3-4 days to unwind myself because my time is messed up. But Prabhupada, we don't hear such things in his life. He would go from this part of the world to next part of the world to this part of the world, everywhere, minute to minute, he's following the same schedule. And we were like, how was he able to do it? That because of the spiritual energy. Is not dependent on the body. It is not. So that is why we need such a nice acharya or leader to follow. We need to make sure whom are we following. Don't just give your tendency to surrender to anybody and anyone. It needs to be checked out very, very vigilantly and diligently. That are we really following a devotee or are we really following somebody who's resonating with my mental concoction? The senses are compared to serpents. So my Guru Maharaj says the senses can have two functions. One is servant and another is serpent. So uncontrolled senses are venomous serpents. Why? Because they will poison the soul. We can never be satisfied, right? I think I told Chaitanya Chaitamrita verse. Kamadhinam katina kalita palita durini desha tesham jata mai na karuna na kripa no pashanti. This devotee is praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kamadhinam katina kalita palita durini desha. Oh ho ho. You all must memorize this verse. Very musical, right? That, oh Krishna, I have tried to satisfy my senses day in and day out. I have joined day and night. I joined. You know, some people work so hard that they join day and night, no schedule only. Because so hard desire to satisfy, work passionately, earn passionately, or take care of other people or themselves. And then the idea is, unless and until I work, I will not be able to do it. But the devotees praying, I did that. Kamadinam kadina kalita palita durini desha. Tesham jatamai na karuna. But they have no mercy on me. Karuna means mercy. Na kripa. Kripa means gratitude. Na pashanti. Shanti means they're not peaceful. I've tried to serve my senses. I've tried to serve the senses of my family, my country, my nation. Nobody is satisfied. Nobody. Neither do they have any mercy, no gratitude, no peace. Now I'm surrendering. There's a bhajan also. Bhajau re mana Shri Nanda Nandanam Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Sheet Jat Sheet Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Bata Bari Sana E dini jamini jagire. Like I have, meaning is that I have served so many people, I have done so many things. Nobody is actually acknowledging me, and neither are they satisfied with my service. They want more and more and more and more and more. It will always happen. It will always be. Prabhupada gives example of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi selflessly tried to serve the country and the people selflessly. He really had no desire. He was not trying to, make money out of his service. He was selflessly serving. What was the result? People of his own country shot him. He had to die. And Prabhupada said Mahatma Gandhi knew that this is going to happen to him. So no one is satisfied. So why not? Why am I living a life of frustration? A very intelligent person will ask this question: when I have an option to live a life of fulfillment, why will I give into such a frustrated life? Why? So why don't I serve the root? What is the root? Serve the origin from where everything is coming. Everybody will be satisfied. And Prabhupada did it. We have example. Prabhupada served Krishna. Through Krishna, everybody is happy. Nobody, actually I asked this question, I don't know, this class, I don't even remember which class. For a second, 10 second, take a 10-second pause. And in your life, think of anybody that you know who's a devotee of Krishna, any acharya, any sampradaya, anybody, and tell me, by becoming by surrendering to Krishna, did any one of them ever become unhappy in their life? Just take a pause and tell me. I want to know. And when you're ready, you can raise your hand. Sapna, you want to tell? Your hand is raised. She unraised her. Yes, if you're ready to share, please tell me. Who were you thinking? And whether they were unhappy when they were serving Krishna. You all make me a little nervous because I'm preaching on a virtual scale. So am I audible because it's a pin drop silence?
It is audible, Mataji.
Okay.
So
Yes. So who?
I'll
Yes.
start. I don't know anybody who is preached as much as you have. So you're my example. And I'm going to say,
No.
like, you know, no, it's just not, I'm not trying to praise you, but like you have so much energy and enthusiasm for, you know, for preaching because you truly believe it. So I believe that you're happy doing what you're doing.
Okay. Thank you, Sita Mataji. I meant elevated devotees. I'm still a devotee in practice. But thank you for the appreciation. Yes, anybody, some devotees like Tirupati Balaji, so their pujaris, Udupi Krishna, their pujaris, so many are there. You must know somebody, or your local temple pujari serving Vishnu, somebody.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This
Yes.
is Rupa. My voice is gone because I have cold. Actually, these dasas and all who serve Krishna, they have composed a lot of kirtanas and all. So if you like listen to those songs, you'll know they're always happy. That those compositions come from the heart. So they're not even like sitting and thinking, how do I write the next word? It's like it's just coming out, and sometimes they don't even record. Their students sit and record those songs for them. It's so pure and so much full of love. Like
Okay, so you think that
Purandara.
they're serving Krishnas, but they're not unhappy. Okay, nice. So nice. Thank you. Anybody else? Is the question very hard or not clear? Vindhya Mataji, please go ahead.
Good morning. I don't know what time it is for you there. It's early morning for me here. I think the first devotee that comes to my mind is Meera. She was in all comforts. She was in all opulence. She had everything in her life, and yet she struck a very good balance between material life and spirituality and her devotion to Krishna. I always feel Meera was a very elevated devotee in the sense that her material wealth never influenced her deep connection to Krishna. And even when she married, and when people tried to trouble her, people tried to kill her, people were very unsure about what to do with her, and thought the best way is to actually kill her so that her devotion can stop. And how she merged with the divine, and as for her there was no separation from Krishna. And when she finally merged with Krishna by just going into the statue of Krishna and just disappearing, and her clothes were found on the ground like that, I think that is the epitome of devotion of one can have for Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So she was happy, even though she was.
Of course, she was happy. To answer your question, yes, she was happy.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Dhaneshwari Mataji. What were you going to say?
Mataji, as Chita Mataji told, I am yet to see a elevated person and in Krishna consciousness actually. So, and currently I am under you, so I am able to visualize how enthusiastically you always take the classes and then making others also to move into that phase. That one I realized, Mataji, actually. Thanks for all your things, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. But I always say be careful who you follow or who you place your role model as, because what happens, I'm fallible. I know my deficiencies. So tomorrow, God forbid, if I fall down, then your enthusiasm will also fall down, because your enthusiasm is dependent on me. But don't like let it be like that. That's why I have someone who's really realized. Okay, so we all can contemplate that. If you have not thought about it, you think about it, and I'm sure you will find someone. You all are devotees. You are all from, I think everyone here is from India. So naturally born devotee, you will have, because it's given in heritage over there. Mataji, Vindhya Mataji, this is my time here. You can see my screen, right? 9:06 p.m.
Okay.
Hi Krishna. Okay, who is reading? Sapna, you're reading?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Sapna already read one.
Sapna read one. If anyone else wants to read very quickly. Nobody else is saying. Okay, then I guess you can read.
Yes, Mataji.
Sapna, go ahead, please.
Okay, Mataji. विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसो अप्य अस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. Translation: the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Purport: unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulation is something like restricting a deceased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste of eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Astanga Yoga in the matter of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge, but one who has tasted the beauty of Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good if one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Sapna. Please memorize this verse 2.59. Vishaya vinivartante niharasya dehina rasa varjam raso api asya param drishtva nivartate. This is the way of detachment. We cannot artificially renounce. This is real renouncement. What? Param drishtva nivartate. Param, far superior. Drishtva, by experiencing. Nivartate, ceases from. Unless and until I get something higher, I cannot give up something lower. It's not going to happen. I cannot just say, oh, there's this beautiful girl who's walking. I'm not going to look at her. I am not going to look at her. I am not going to look at her. But next minute, let me look at her one time. So don't play around with the mind like that. Krishna consciousness is a real thing. Really, the mind has to be peace. Very nice. Such a beautiful girl is going. Krishna is so nice. He can make someone so pretty. So you have to have some higher taste than just merely looking at the other person with a vision of sense enjoyment. That is a very low vision. Very low vision. Somebody associating with someone. That's why we have to be real. That's why there are regulated principles. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit relationships. This illicit relationships is of 8 types. There are 8 each and every regulation is deep. 8 things are there in it. Okay, so it's not that okay, illicit relationship means okay, I am married and I cannot have an extramarital affair. No. 8 things are there. So, but the person will not be able to do it unless and until the person is really situated and fixed with the goal of life, and is honestly and sincerely seeking the association and service to Krishna. So I am in this neophyte stage where we have to follow the rules and regulations. And the rules and regulations are given by the acharyas. We are not making them. Everything is revealed. 16 round chanting. Now, so many people ask me, why 16 rounds? I want to ask, why not? Then the other question asked is, why? Krishna's name is unlimited. Why are we putting a count on it? Well, yes, that is why it is said minimum 16 rounds. There is no maximum said. Minimum, this is the discipline that one has to follow every day. That this is what we should do. Prabhupada is promising. Prabhupada is Acharya. Prabhupada says, who does this minimum 16 rounds? I open the back door to Goloka Vrindavan and I take you there. If somebody has a doubt on it, then fine. It's their life. Every one of us have to face our own death. And then a life after death is, I also have to face my own personal. I want to gamble on that. Fine, do it. But I'm not going to gamble on it. Prabhupada said, I have faith. It is what it is. And I will do it. When we chant 16 rounds, when we start it, then we understand this is real. You know, when I'm very hungry or very thirsty, this happens to me so many times, and I'm very thirsty and I feel like today I'm going to drink like 10 glasses of water because I'm so thirsty. So I drink, okay, 1 glass and 2 glass and 3rd glass. It's okay, my thirst is satisfied. I don't need the 4th glass. So like that, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 16 rounds minimum a day, we realize Prabhupada gives this knowledge in the heart that yes, this is good. Yes, you are going back. Yes, we don't need to validate. Then slowly we are able to increase our rounds too. Can one of you please take care of the deities? Tell Ani. Tell Ani. It's getting late. Sorry, thank you. So don't try. If I'm sincere, my sincerity will depend on how much is a surrender to the Acharya's words. Vani and Vapu, 2 things. Vapu is serving the body of the Acharya, and Vani is serving the words of the Acharya. So Acharya lives in both the things. And out of the 2 things, Vani and Vapu, Vani is more important. The words are more important than the body. And Prabhupada words are saying 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the chanting beads every single day. But some people will say, no, why? But the problem is not with Prabhupada or instruction. The problem is within us. There's something which is prohibiting us from following someone's rules and regulations or orders. Probably that person has had bad experience in following someone's orders. And now it is getting projected to Krishna consciousness. This happens a lot, because we are conditioned. We have psychological conditioning, physical conditioning, mental conditioning, and we come to spiritual life with all this baggage. I've seen so many times. And I have seen in my life also how I came with my baggage and how slowly my baggage is going away. We can see the person is not able to follow the order of Srila Prabhupada, not because order is a problem, but because they have a problem. There is something, most of the cases this is the reason. There is something in their life which is telling them why to follow someone else's order now. I am done with following orders. That is the real thing. So that experience has to be processed. They haven't processed themselves yet. Still sitting with that. Why? Okay, it's very deep. Krishna consciousness forces us to take care of ourselves. That is why Krishna consciousness is the best self-care. We are forced.
Ma'am, Radhika here.
Yes.
I've always had one doubt, ma'am, not contradictory, but 2 ways to approach, right? On 2 areas. One is on the mala, I mean, on the japa. So I'm not talking about the Maha Mantra as a concept, and I'm not talking about the number. So let's assume 16 is the number. There are 2 ways of approaching, ma'am. One is you target a number and work towards that number and do it. That is one approach. This is like, having, nice things, but you force yourself, like you're fasting, but you still have the mind craving. So you may have a target, but still you're exhausted doing it. Alternatively, you have that as a target, but you don't aim to do it now, but slowly achieve as your mind interests you to do. I don't know which path is the ideal path, because I follow the second one because I feel this is a good one. So if I push myself to do 16 today, I will get exhausted, I'll get tired. To tell you the truth, the first day when I started, I did only half a round because I couldn't concentrate. Today I'm able to do 4. So this is one. On the other hand, you know, if this is specific to me. On the other hand, also something which I feel is, you know, and this is just an example, I don't drink. But if I'm sitting in the house and I keep telling that, you know, I don't drink, it's because I've never seen it. It's not that I want to taste it. But if I go to a pub and if I stay out of it, that is where I feel my real control is. I don't know which is right, but I've always felt this. So I just thought I should check with you because, you know, that's what you call it even scientifically, you know, ma'am, wine test. Without seeing a wine, even a drunkard stays away from it. I'm not telling taste it. So I'm always confused on this.
Very nice. Very nice question. Yes. So as long as the ambition is that I need to reach this point, but I'm talking about people who question this very question, that why 16 rounds. So that means that their ambition is not even 16 rounds. They're not targeting. You're fine, Radhika. If you can't start 16 in one day, that's fine. You accepted where your position and you were doing half a round and now you're in 4 rounds already, like 400% improvement, right? Progress is already there.
Yeah.
But your sincerity lies that, Prabhupada, I want to do it, but I'm not there yet. So you will get there just because of your sincerity. Okay,
Sure.
so you're fine. And the other question is, if I have not done it, if I have not well,
not done it. I'm not telling not done it, ma'am. Not doing is not what I'm saying. I'm telling, you know, if I'm sitting in a temple right inside and not drinking, it's fine. But I go to a pub and not drink, I feel that's only the right, I don't know, ma'am. You got it right, my question.
I got it. But the thing is that when we look at somebody who is under the effect of intoxication, okay, and I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and I look at that person, then now I can think that what kind of a life I want to choose. Even if I am good, first of all, I'll not go there because I don't want to waste my time. That will be the desire of a devotee, and if the desire is sincere, then Krishna will help, and we will not go there. But somehow or other, if I end up there, then it was my own desire. First of all, we have to take the accountability and responsibility. I am here because I want to be here. And Krishna arranged for it. But I am going to go to the pub because I want to go. There's some little desire to check out what's going on. But if I know that what's going on already, and I'm convinced that I have Paramdrishta Nivartate, why would I rather go there? But let's say, chalo, pahunch hi gaye, somehow or other, fluke, whatever, pahunch hi gaye. Then also the person will not like to express themselves. They'll feel shut down. They won't try to taste this. It will not happen. In the life of a sincere devotee, it will not happen ever. Never. Because Krishna sitting in the heart is working. And when Krishna sitting in the heart is working with that particular living entity, these things are not going to matter. It's not going to matter.
Even if the person goes and does not drink, not drinking is more important than not going, no, ma'am. That's my doubt.
Hare Krishna, Mataji,
Both, because both. Yes, Mataji, 1 second. Both, Radhika, both. Because the person who's the devotee of Krishna is very, very vigilant and watchful and mindful about their time.
And sometimes what happens is by choice, it's not by choice. Sometimes, you know, when you work in a particular community like a banking, most of the meetings are organized largely in bars or pubs. That's the style they adapt. So you don't have a choice. You can't stay, we'll stay out of it. Yes, it is.
That is not happening in America. Sita Mataji, you work in a bank, your parties are in pubs?
No, Mataji.
I don't know, ma'am, but most of the MNC banks in India follow that.
Wow. That is amazing.
And this is not now. I'm talking about, I think, even a decade before it's been that way. And I can tell you which bank.
Okay, then if you end up there, then you don't take part in it. Like when I go to the meetings, you think they're drinking wine and they're eating meat, right? They are all doing it. Scallops, shellfish, or whatever. They're drinking wine and they're eating, and I'm sitting there. But I am, I think I've just learned to be very focused of what the purpose is, and then excuse myself. Okay, the meeting is now done and you guys enjoy the dinner. I have to take my leave. Because I'm not Prabhupada. If Prabhupada is there, then he will change everyone sitting over there.
Got it.
Immediately, Krishna. I have to take care of my own self. It doesn't happen so often, though. It does not happen. I remember 4 or 5 times it has happened, but not really too much. Vijanti Mataji, did we answer your question, Radhika?
Thank you.
Okay. Vijanti Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, I want to answer Radhika itself, Mataji. Why, for the purpose of the meeting was to end up with something, but not the main purpose was not for having alcohol. Be within and be without. Stay with them, hear to them, but don't have your own things in your mind. Even when she's sitting with them, she can be in Krishna consciousness, Mataji.
That's exactly what I was asking, ma'am, because it's not that I stay out of such meetings. And first of all, sometimes we don't have a choice, but even if we have a choice, I feel, I'm just sharing this, and that's what I was asking clarity with ma'am. Staying there and not drinking, isn't that a better option, a better control, rather than not staying at all? Because if I don't see, I will not...
Yes, Mataji, that is part and parcel of your job, so you need to go there. But at the same time, be within and be without.
Yeah.
Answer to your question is yes. That even if I am exposed, Prabhupada has said that even if I am exposed, I will still not be attracted to it.
That should be the right thing, no, ma'am. That is only, I mean, that's what I feel.
Yeah, but let's not experiment ourselves because we are not acharyas. I mean, if you are there by the force of your work, that's different thing. But everyone else sitting in this class, I am not telling that let's go and check out that how much are we attracted when we go to a pub. We don't do that. We don't waste our time in experimenting our own growth because there's a high chance that some of us will not be able to control.
Hare Krishna Mataji. An alert of 8 minutes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to launch this poll. I'm sorry in the middle of the class because I need to make some decisions. I want to do this book with all of you, Nectar of Instruction. It has 11 mantras. Can you tell me if you are available to attend 3 to 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time for Nectar of Instruction on these days? December 22nd, December 23rd, December 28th, then 30th December to January 1st. Are you available?
The co-host cannot vote, just for information.
I'm going to take the co-host status away because I want everyone to vote.
Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay, so please don't mind. So all of you please tell me because this will all the 11 mantras. The 11 mantras we can do, but this is the only time I can conduct this class, and these are the only days. Sorry, I think there's no one as a co-host now, so all of you can. We are 25 people in this class, so I will not be able to make a decision even if one of you are not able to vote. So 25 out of 25, please vote.
Mataji, what is that? Okay, 1st February. From 30th to 1st.
February नहीं है, January. मैंने इंडिया के जैसे डेट
Yeah, January. Okay. 2-1. Yeah. I'm seeing you in the American form. Okay.
नहीं, December in India. So far, only 15 people have voted, yaar.
It's 5 days on 22nd December, 23rd December, 28th December, 30th December, and 2nd Jan.
No, 30th December, 1st December, 1st January, 2nd January. So this is going to be 1,
Mataji, I'm not able to see the poll.
7 days.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, hyphen.
Got it.
Annu Mataji, you're able to see?
Yes, Mataji, I voted.
20 people have voted now. Please, all of you, I request you. If you can't vote, then at least tell me. If you can't see the vote.
Another 5 people, Mataji.
Man, not sure means it's yes, no?
Not sure means no.
Partially available. You can think it as partially available.
I know, ma'am. That's a yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So 21 people have voted, 4 are still pending. I cannot tell who has done and who has not done. Are you having problem in voting? Please talk to me. 22. Sailesh Kumar Prabhu, you are able to see the screen?
I've already given my vote.
Yes, ma'am.
I voted already.
Okay.
I've said yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes. 22 people. Now still 3 people are remaining. Please, all of you are very important to me. I want all of you to please tell me. Are you able to come for Nectar of Instruction classes? If I take on 22nd, December, 23rd December, 28th December, 30th December, 31st December, 1st January, 2nd January. From this time to this time, 3 to 4:30 p.m. every day. You see, we are already almost 4 minutes and we have 22 out of 25 people voted. Who is not able to vote? Is there anyone who is not able to vote? Okay, then I'm going to end the polling. So this is the result. So total 22 people gave the vote. So majority is saying yes. 17 are saying yes out of it, out of 25. One person has said no, and 4 are saying not sure. So, okay, so I'll take this as a yes. I have to take this vote from one class to another. Like I'm going to ask Madhavas to, in the afternoon today, I have class with them at 3 o'clock. And then I will ask Govindas, and I'll let you know if we start or not. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I think we covered till 59. Can we do 60th also, or it is too late? Can someone tell me?
Aisha.
Mataji, you can proceed, Mataji.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Hi, Krishna Bolo.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, please read. Rashmi Mataji, you can read.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. 77% is yes.
Yeah.
You saw that, okay.
Yes.
यथा हि अपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपाश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि परमातिनि हरान्तिनि प्रसापभं मनः. Translation: the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses, but in spite of their endeavor, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menaka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and the senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot cease such material engagements. A practical example is given by Srila Yamunacharya, a great sage and a devotee, who says, since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor. Whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at the thought. Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaja Amrisha also conquered a great sage, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. So very careful that the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind of a man, mind even of a man of discrimination who's endeavoring to control them. Thank you. So just because of our endeavor to control them, don't think that we have succeeded in controlling them. There's still a lot of work to be done. The senses will ever remain like serpents. They will only quieten down, and when the venomous teeth of a serpent are taken out. And how will that be taken out? By engagement in Krishna consciousness. We need engagement. Just talking is not going to do. One Mataji is there, Rambhuru Mataji, she's Srila Prabhupada's disciple. She said, Prabhupada used to say, actually this is true, Prabhupada used to say that what your preaching will do was talking, be quiet. You give a devotee one book, my book, and the person's life will change. So she was telling that when we take class, it's not as much as the talks that we do in the class that are remembered by the people who are attending the class. What they really remember is their own feelings, how they felt when they were in the class. So they, if we are giving the class, they may remember maybe 2%, 5%, not more than that. But they will always remember, and what will make people come back is how they are feeling. And that is fine. That is the real way. So make sure that you're checking with your feeling, how you are feeling. When you associate with the devotees, hear about Krishna, read about Krishna, work for Krishna, how are you feeling? Check in. Are you feeling that you are getting advanced in spiritual knowledge? You're becoming more self-satisfied, and your satisfaction is not outsourced? Or are you still feeling a need to do the things that are still forbidden? We will know, like meat eating, right? Meat eating is a difficult thing to give up. It's very difficult. Person who eats meat cannot give it up. It's very, very difficult for people. But by tasting Krishna Prasadam, tasting and tasting every day, automatically the same thing becomes very distasteful. Or tea and coffee. It's very hard to give up tea and coffee. Very, very mild amount of intoxication, but it's still very addicting because people don't want to give it up. But if somebody is really sincerely, honestly, with the heart is engaged in Krishna's service, Krishna will take away and is praying. Krishna, I'm not able to get rid of these unwanted things from my consciousness. Then one day suddenly it goes away. Krishna magic happens in the life of a devotee, and we're not attracted, not attached. It does not matter. So we should allow all these Krishna magic things to happen in our life by following a bona fide process. Automatically, material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It doesn't mean that we find fault in someone who's doing it. That we be careful. We cannot find fault in anybody. It means in my own self, I am getting rid for my own sake. Okay. So next week is a bit of a problem for me because Saturday morning I will be working. We can do one thing. I can take the class, but it will have to be 1 hour delayed. Let me know, because I'll be driving back at the normal time. Instead of 6:30, I can take class at 7:30. Let me know if that works.
That's okay.
Mataji, you can stop recording, Sita Mataji.
Sure.